In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create an AppGini application in a few minutes. We'll start by designing a simple application for managing inventory, and we'll see how to upload it to the internet, set it up, and add data to it. Then we'll make a modification to the application and redeploy it. This should give you a clear overview of the workflow involved with AppGini applications. Inventory management usually involves tracking products, stocks received, stocks withdrawn, and stock levels. We'll create a simple application to manage these aspects. Of course, a real-world inventory management system would involve many more features, but we'll keep it simple for the sake of demonstration. Let's start by creating a new project in AppGini, and let's name it Inventory Management. Next, we'll add a new table to our project, and let's call it Products. I like to begin new projects by adding tables first, and then adding fields to these tables. This way I can visualize the overall structure of my application before diving into details. But you can, of course, start by adding fields directly to the table if you prefer. So I'll add the other tables we need for our inventory management system. I'll add a table for stocks received where we are going to record the stocks we receive, and a table for stocks withdrawn where we are going to record the stocks we withdrew. Now let's add fields to our tables. For the products table, we'll add a field for the product name, description, SKU, which is a unique identifier for the product, and stock level. Next, let's set the data types of these fields to be able to store the data we need. So, for the product name, I'll use a varchar field with the length of 100 characters. For the description, I'll use a text field. And for the SKU, I'll use a varchar field with the length of 50 characters, and I'll set it as a primary key. Each table in AppGini must have a primary key field, which uniquely identifies each record in the table. The primary key field is usually an auto-increment integer field, but it can be any field that uniquely identifies each record in the table. For the stock level, I'll use an integer field since it will store the number of items in stock. Later, we'll set this field to be calculated based on the stocks received and withdrawn. For the stocks received table, we'll add fields for the product SKU, the quantity received, the date received, and the person who received the stock. To link this table to the products table, we'll set the product SKU field to be a lookup field that looks up the SKU field in the products table. We'll also enable the required checkbox for this field to make sure that users can't leave it empty. For the quantity received field, we'll use an integer field to store the number of items received. We'll set it as required. I'll also enable the unsigned checkbox to make sure that the quantity received is always a positive number. It doesn't make sense to receive a negative quantity of items. For the date received field, I'll use a date-time field to store the date and time of the stock received, and I'll set it as required. As for the person received field, I'll use a varchar field with a length of 100 characters to store the name of the person who received the stock. And to automatically record the name of the user who added the record, I'll open the Auto Value drop-down and select Created by Username. This will automatically record the name of the user who added the record in this field to avoid manually typing it, which might cause typos or encourage data manipulation. As we mentioned earlier, we need to have a primary key field in each table, so I'll add another field in this table and I'll call it ID. When you name a field ID in AppGini, it's automatically set as a primary key field with the data type of integer and auto-increment. This is a super quick way to add a primary key field to your table. The stocks withdrawn table will be similar to the stocks received table with minor differences. So instead of repeating the fields here, it's more efficient to remove this table, then copy the stocks received table and paste it back. I'll just rename the pasted table to stocks withdrawn. And I'll make the necessary changes to the fields. So I'll change the field quantity received to quantity withdrawn, and I'll change the field date received to date withdrawn. I'll also change the field person received to person withdrawn, but that's all. The other fields will remain the same, as well as all the field settings. One remaining step is to configure the stock level field in the products table to be calculated based on the stocks received and withdrawn. That is, the stock level should be the sum of the quantities received minus the sum of the quantities withdrawn for that specific product. To do this, I'll navigate to the stock level field in the products table and I'll set it as a read-only field. This is necessary to allow the field to be calculated from a formula. Then I'll open the Calculated Field tab and enable this checkbox to make this field a calculated field. In the query box, I'll write an SQL query that calculates the stock level for the product. This query selects the sum of the quantity received from the stocks received table, minus the sum of the quantity withdrawn from the stocks withdrawn table for the product SKU in the current record. This formula is written in SQL, and it might look intimidating if you're not familiar with SQL, but don't worry, you don't need to know SQL to use AppGini. We include many examples of formulas in the documentation covering many common use cases, and you can always ask for help in the AppGini forums if you need help with the formula. Also, you can actually use AI tools like ChatGPT to write SQL formulas for you. We have another video showing how to use ChatGPT to write SQL formulas for calculated fields in AppGini. You can check it out if you're interested. All right, now that we've set up our tables and fields, let's generate our application. I'll click the Generate App button. AppGini will then ask me to select an output folder for the generated application, since this is the first time I'm generating this application. I can either browse to an existing folder or type a folder path directly, so I'll type D/inventory management. If this folder doesn't exist, AppGini will create it automatically. I'll click Continue to start generating the application. AppGini has now generated our application. I'll click the button labeled View Files to open the output folder. The next step is to upload the generated application to our web server. AppGini actually includes a built-in uploader that makes it easy to upload and deploy your application in one click. But we need to configure it the first time we use it. So to configure the uploader, we need to follow two simple steps. The first step is to click the application name at the top left corner, then go to the application URL box. I'll enter the URL of my web server here, including any subfolder if my application is not in the root of the server. The second step is to use any FTP client to upload this file, fileuploader.php, to the web server into the folder that will host our application. I'll use FileZilla to upload this file, but you can use any FTP client you like. If you don't know the FTP configuration of your server, you can usually find it in your hosting control panel, or you can ask your hosting provider for help. Once the file is uploaded, I'll go back to AppGini and click the Upload button. AppGini will perform a few checks to make sure the server is reachable and the fileuploader.php file is in the correct location. If everything is okay, we can proceed with uploading the application. This will take a couple of minutes depending on the speed of your internet connection and the size of your application, and you can see the detailed progress in the Uploader window. Once the upload is complete, We can click the Launch Uploaded App button to open our application in the browser. Because this is the first time we're opening the application, we'll be asked to set it up. First, let's solve this CAPTCHA, which is a security measure to prevent bots from accessing the setup page. Next, we'll see a couple of screens explaining that we need to set up the application and telling us the information we need beforehand. We're now in the setup page, where we're going to enter the database connection details. I'll enter the database server address, then the database name, the username, and the password. You can usually find these details in your hosting control panel, or you can ask your hosting provider for help. Once the database connection is successful, we should also provide a name for the administrator account. This account will have full access to the application and can create other users and manage their application settings. I'll enter admin as the username, but you can enter any username you like. I'll also enter the admin email address, a strong password, and I'll confirm the password. Once the setup is complete, we'll be automatically logged into the application as the administrator. We can now start using the application to manage our inventory. The application homepage is what users would see after they log in. It includes links to the tables the current user has access to. The administrator has access to all tables, but other users might have access to only some tables depending on the permissions you set for them. Let's add 2 products to our inventory. I'll click the products link in the home page, then I'll click the Add New button to add a new product. I'll enter the product name as laptop and the description as a powerful laptop and the SKU as LAP 001. The stock level is read only and will be calculated automatically based on the stocks received and withdrawn. I'll add another product, smartphone, with the SKU of PHN 001. By the way, if you have a CSV file with your products, you can input it directly into the products table by clicking the Import CSV button. This is a quick way to add many products to your inventory without having to manually type them. Now let's add a stock received record for the laptop. I'll navigate back to the products table view, then click the laptop record to open its detail view. You can see 2 tabs for stocks received and stocks withdrawn tables. Under the Stocks Received tab, I'll click the Add New button to add a new stock received record. I'll enter the quantity received as 10 and the date received as today's date. The person received will be automatically set to the username of the current user once I save the record. And the product SKU is automatically set to the SKU of the current product. After saving the record, you can see that the stock level of the laptop product has been updated to 10. Now let's add a stock withdrawn record for the laptop. I'll click the Stocks Withdrawn tab, then I click the Add New button and add a new stock withdrawn record. I'll enter the quantity withdrawn as 2 and the date withdrawn as today's date. The person withdrawn will be automatically set to my username once I save the record. After saving the record, you can see that the stock level of the laptop has been updated to 8, which is the stock level after withdrawing 2 items from the 10 items we received. Before we end this video, let me show you how easy it is to make changes to your application using AppGini. Let's say you want to change the theme of your application to a dark theme, and you also want to add a product photo field to the products table. To change the theme, I'll click the Edit Theme button in AppGini. And I'll select a dark theme from the list of available themes. Then click Apply. To add a product photo field, I'll go to the Products table and click the New Field button. I'll name that field photo. AppGini will smartly configure this field as a photo upload field, which allows users to upload a photo for each product. And if you are accessing the application from a mobile device, you can take a photo directly from your camera and upload it. Let's now generate the application again. AppGini will suggest the same output folder we used before. We'll also be asked to confirm overwriting the existing files. I'll choose to overwrite all and click OK. Once the application is generated, let's click the Upload button to upload it to the server. AppGini will perform the same checks as before, and if everything is okay, we can proceed with the upload. AppGini will now upload only the new and modified files, which makes the upload process much faster than the first time. Once the upload is complete, let's switch to the browser and refresh the page. You can see that the theme of the application has changed to a dark theme. And a new photo field has been added to the Products table. You can now upload photos for your products. And that's it. We've created a simple inventory management system in just a few minutes using AppGini, and we've seen how easy it is to make changes to our application. We have actually covered only a small part of what AppGini can do, but there are many more features that you can explore. Check out the other videos and the documentation on our website to learn more about AppGini. I hope you can now see the power of AppGini and how it can help you create custom software that perfectly fits your needs without having to wait for weeks or months or spend huge budgets for development. If you have any questions or need help with your application, you can always ask in the AppGini forums, or you can contact us directly via the support form on our website. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy using AppGini to create your tailored software applications and streamline your operations.